Hello everybody, it's Rick Miller with Southside Realtors, and thank you again for watching my Jedico Properties YouTube channel and your continued interest in this series on Saving Monica. Please remember to subscribe so you will be notified of the next episode of Saving Monica, as well as all the other videos available to help you become the best buyer and seller of real estate that you can be. Next up is Saving Monica episode number 4. Let's start by doing a little review of what has been done so far before we get into resolving the next big problem. Our first shot is of the porch light. It's my porch light. I like that light. Went with the theme that I was trying to promote for the property. One of the first things I wanted to take a look at was that the workspace is clean. We did a lot of demolition here, and I appreciate the guys coming in and cleaning everything up so we can really take a look at what we've got and where we need to go to from here. The cabinets, I knew that was leaning badly, almost 2.5 inches from the stovetop to the dishwasher area. We knew the floor was bad as well, so we cut a little window in there so we could take a peek in to see what was there. We weren't able to find a lot of the problem that we will eventually find at this time, but we were taking a look. We had some supply chain issues, but we got some additional supplies for the bathroom so we could continue to move forward. I removed the chair rail all the way around. I originally thought I was going to put beadboard in here, and later decided that I wanted a cleaner look. It was removed from this area as well. The sliding glass doors, I'm going to put French doors in there, make that really look nice. But my biggest issue was the ceiling. If you remember, we had these styrofoam beams, brown beams that were glued on. And to get that glue off and get all that styrofoam off really became a problem. I had to make a decision as to where to from here with that. Do we want to hang sheetrock again or skim it all? To the right is one of the main support beams as well as a vertical beam. We're going to wrap those in sheetrock and dress it up real nice. If you notice the corners, I wanted my corners where my walls met the ceiling to be real nice and square and cleaned off, but noticed in here that I had a 3-inch gap. So it was back to the use of crown molding in this area is what we were deciding, or what I had decided. Here's the bathroom. If you remember, the floor had 3 inches, at least 3 inches of cement, and then tile on top of that. That was all broken out. The vertical studs were damaged, and you'll notice in later clips that this is all going to be removed. The flue is also going to have to be removed. It cracked when we were trying to work around it. This interior linen closet for the bath, we're going to delete that, and I'll tell you why in a moment. And it has an adjacent closet from the hall area right here, and we removed all the door and the getting it ready to be deleted as well. Let's go into the back bathroom. If you'll notice these studs, we were hoping we could save some, not studs, but floor joists. We were hoping we could save something, but we just can't. These are going to have to be cut out and replaced. This is a shot from the master area. You can get a better idea as to what my intent is with this. That wall right to the right is the back of the closet from the hall. That's going to be removed so we can make a little more closet space for the people that will be utilizing the master. And I guess this would be her closet. After the bulk of demolition was done, we took a few days off to let everything set. I was actually having difficulty getting some materials and had to make some adjustments surrounding issues with skilled carpenters. But with the weekend that we took off, I was able to resolve those issues so we could keep moving forward. But as you will see, I just got hit with some unplanned problems. Okay. All right. Now we've started. We got all the material in. And we've got the crew in. And having still to do some more demolition work because the damage in the bath was so severe. And we don't know how many brackets and scabs we're going to have to put in, but it could be as many as 18. But all of this work has got to be done before we're able to do any of the nice remodeling stuff, and this is probably going to take a couple of days. 18 floor joists. Let me correct myself. I was feeling pretty defeated at this point. Actually, I was thinking about having to put a 2x6 on either side of the floor joist in order to shore it up, which meant dealing with 9 joists, 2 scabs on either side. Subflooring issues and floor joist issues ended up extending out underneath the tub area. Also affected, as you probably noticed in the last clip, were the wall studs surrounding the shower. Yes, it did put me off schedule by 3 days, but with the anxiety and stress that comes along with these projects, at least I wasn't standing still. The guys have been working hard, so let's go see how things came out. Hola! What a mess. What a mess. All right.
¿Cómo está?
Hey, how's it going?
It's okay.
Looks good. Much better. Much better. Let me get around this way. Oh, you got the closet torn out. This is gonna be good.
This is Frank. Oh,
Yeah.
Chicago.
What? This is going. Yeah, it's gonna be deleted. Yeah, and this one too. This one too. That's right.
Open the door.
See. All right. Oh, that's the damaged wood over there that you took out of here. Yeah. Oh, and you leveled that up right there. Yeah.
This is wood
Right.
and here. And the spices is smoking.
Yeah. You have this material to put on here. Okay. Today. All right. Looks good.
Mama Jing.
Huh?
Jing.
Yeah. See? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Much better. Nobody's gonna fall through there. Yeah, you don't want to be falling through there after you're sitting on. Boy, did I feel better once I saw Theo jumping around on those new floor supports and joists. I really felt we were back on track, and I felt like I could adjust the budget in areas a little to make up for the days lost. Remember those mold problems we had in the beginning? Well, early on, when I first saw the house and was crawling around in the crawl space nearest the wall at the front of the house, I noticed the soil was damp. At that time, I also saw standing water underneath the bathroom area. I assumed it was all coming from that area, until I was standing in the front door one afternoon watching a nice spring Georgia rain. We had a lot of rain today here at trying to save Monica, and that kind of exposed a lot of issues with the gutters in particular, and the soffits. So that needs to be addressed, and the gutters need to be fixed a little bit. I can turn that around and show you a little bit I'm talking about, because they are still dripping. You can see down here we got a pool of water, and I don't know why these gutters in the originally weren't terminated into the corner, and this other piece left off. I don't know. We're missing a downspout there, and we've got some dripping down here too. So that's going to have to be addressed, and that is something I am absolutely sure that a inspector is going to see. It's been a hard week. We've got a lot done. When we left Friday morning, we thought that we were going to be painting on Monday. At least that was the plan, and that would have been coming around 3rd and headed for home. But as to be expected on a lot of these types of situations, the unthinkable happened, and we found another problem. I thought we had uncovered everything that we were going to uncover, but we ended up finding another problem. Actually two that are huge concerns, probably more so than, well, it's right up there with the mold that we had to remedy, and the floor in the bathroom for sure. I mean, they were major and have become very costly, and it's caused delays and asked us to step back a second and rethink a lot of our strategies here, and associated costs therewith. So today, Saturday, everybody's taking a rest for the weekend. Like I said, it was a hard week, and we're going to hit it again on Monday. But I want to go in, let you see what's been done so far, and identify those problems. And before we go in, one of the first problems we're going to identify is just out here, out front. And this was probably one of the major issues leading to the mold problem. Besides all the plumbing underneath the bathtub and plumbing underneath the house, really, that had failed. And remember, a lot of the failing of the plumbing underneath the house was probably twofold. One of which had never been maintained. Number two, there was a lot of lead piping that over time that becomes brittle and ended up cracking and falling through, especially under the bathtub. Remember, that was laying on the crawl space floor, and anytime any water was run in the bathroom through the bathtub and shower, it was going straight into the crawl space. The one of the bathroom toilets too was leaking, had been leaking for quite some time, and so anytime that was used, all of that gray water, if you will, had deteriorated a lot of the wood, obviously with the acid in the water, and was collecting down in the crawl space. But the other issue that we ended up having, that we discovered, and it didn't happen until I was standing out here. We had a terrible week of weather, and I was standing in the doorway watching it rain and noticed off to my right a tremendous amount of water coming off the roof that was not being collected, and the gutters were failing. So I'm going to turn this around, and let's look right here. If we can see in that corner why they did not dead end that into the fascia there. But anyway, the water was coming right off the roof, and actually there is a piece of flashing that they probably used in the valley up there, but the water was coming off and running like a waterfall right off to here, and it was collecting in that pool where one of the guys probably cleaned up their mud tray and mud knives, spackling knives. And to make it worse, it was collecting probably 3 inches deep here behind the house along the foundation. But you can see that clean out right there. Well, I went over under the house, everything was wet. There was still standing water in there. And what I finally figured out after sitting down there for about 40 minutes was that the water was seeping through along that, was finding its way through there, and then coming right out collecting into the crawl space. So we had all kinds of water issues. And so, you know, so now we're going to have, here's that from this angle. But I wasn't real crazy about the fall on this and the length of it. I don't know what the code is. I'd have to look it up, but I can tell you this. We're going to have to remedy this whole thing. Have somebody come out here and fix this in order to get that water away from this foundation, because it's all collecting underneath and it's just going to perpetuate itself. Just going to continue to have the problems we've been experiencing with the water and the mold and everything else. It's got to be done. So, I mean, that's not going to be a huge costly issue, but it's an issue just the same, especially when you go to sell the house. You got to disclose, when you're having to disclose things that are wrong. And for sure, a building inspector, if he sticks his head underneath here and sees all that water collecting, you know it's going to be an issue. Now we're going to go in, and here's the other issue. Now you can see everything's been prepped up, and pretty much once we clean this place out, then it's going to be ready to paint. But this is what happened. We were looking to reset the kitchen counter. We knew that it was sloping badly to the right from which we were looking. And we thought it was just going to be a matter of shimming it properly. We knew the flooring was bad, but we thought that in years prior, we were aware that there was a prior leak from a washing machine, and that had been fixed, but we found out that it had not. And what ended up happening was that not only was that washing machine leaking, if you can notice there, if I can get a close-up, we had repaired all of that, put in new parts, pressure valves, and so new plumbing in there as well. All of that plumbing failed when it was touched, which is to be expected when you're working on older homes and there's a lot of lead pipe in it. But this is what we found, and you can see it in there. All of that over time it wasn't holding anything up. Everything was going to fall through the floor. You know, if you put a refrigerator there where it's supposed to go, inevitably it's going to lean hard to, which would be my left as we're looking at it, or to the right if you have your back against the wall. It's going to fall right down in through the floor. When we pulled all this trash out, what we kind of figured was that somebody put a subfloor on top of a subfloor. The first subfloor had failed. They did not fix the leak or the problem, but they came back in and put another subfloor on top of it, thinking that was going to fix it, I guess. But the other thing that really just drove me nuts when I originally saw this is they built in a box. They knew that there was a problem under the washing machine. So that's all new wood. You can tell it's all new wood right there. But they didn't extend it. They didn't need to build a box. They could have extended all the way back to the brick on this side underneath the door and made it one complete piece. But at the same time, I mean, it still was failing. They nailed it in, but all those nails failed, and the floor was falling through there too. I mean, I thought that was a little bit egregious, but all of this has to be repaired. I don't know what they were thinking when they came in and tried to repair this for these folks, but they certainly did not do it correctly or do a good job, and they just left it to fail is what it all amounted to. But this is pretty much indicative of how insidious water can be and the amount of damage that it can cause over time, which is a lot. The highs and lows of flipping a house. You just never know what tomorrow will bring, and you need to be prepared and ready to think your way through any problem that comes along. Thanks again for watching my Jadico Properties YouTube channel, and please subscribe. Next week on Saving Monica, the story continues, and finally things begin to improve and we start seeing signs of a finished product. and it's actually starting to look good. Until then, this is Rick Miller with Southside Realtors. If you are looking to sell, good luck with your sale. If you're looking to buy, then happy house hunting.